Oh, oh, check it out.
Today we're going to discuss the problem with the Common Core standard. The Common Core standards were developed so that every school nationwide have consistent academic benchmarks for all students. This would ensure that all students graduate high school with the knowledge and skills needed to be successful in college, in their career, and life. This, however, is a problematic approach because it impairs educational quality and choice. Individual states and local educators should be allowed to design standards that address the needs for their diverse population of students in their communities. What is the CCS? The Common Core is a set of high-quality academic standards in mathematics, English, literacy, and arts. These learning goals outline what a student should know and be able to do at the end of each grade. Two terms you guys should be familiar with are curriculum and standard. The term curriculum refers to the lessons and academic content taught in a school or in a specific course or program. Standard is what a student should know and be able to do at each level. The standard can be used as a reference point for planning, teaching, and learning programs and for assessing student progress. Now let's analyze the problem.
It all started by former Arizona Governor Janet Napolitano in 2006-2007, along with the National Governor Association led by the University of California. They implemented the Common Core as to have a common educational system for the whole country, so everyone's on the same point. While serving as chair, Napolitano wrote the initiative for the year, as every past chair had done and every chair since. Basically, Napolitano's initiative had a strong focus on improving math and science education as well as the workforce.
All right, what are the causes for this problem?
More than 5.5 million of 30 young adults in the United States between the ages of 18 and 24 do not have a high school diploma, according to the 2012 U.S. Census. The Common Core standards intended to change this. The intent is to build a program in which students will be fully prepared for college and their career. However, Common Core is one-size-fits-all educational policy that expects all students to learn the same way and at the same time. It fails to recognize that the students learn at different paces and different levels and performances.
All right, what are the symptoms of the problem?
There's a fear of losing local oversight. Since everyone's going to be on the same educational platform, some people fear that the Common Core standards will lead to nationwide dictate that makes all schools in the country teach exactly the same material. And they feel that the local community is going to lose control of everything they're teaching. And then it goes on to the parents and the students, because the student is not going to say, oh, this is difficult. The student is just assuming that what's being taught is the easiest way to go about it. When the student brings the homework home and the parents try to help, the parents are thinking to themselves, why are they making my child go all the way around just to get a simple answer? And then in the kid's mind, okay, now my parents are like, this is stupid. Now I'm going to go back to school and question my teacher. And it really goes on. There's a lot more going on. And kids are developing symptoms of academic rigor starting to set in. It's even in as early as kindergarten. Students are being asked to reach very high goals, and the stuff is very difficult to learn. And then it goes even further with the testing, and there's a lot of stress on the students because it's on the computer as well. So the computer, the technology hasn't caught up to where Common Core needs to be. Where the technology hasn't caught up to what they're asking it to do. So now we're getting malfunction in the computer, and the students are being stressed. And then that's a reflection on the teacher, because the test is not going to be indicative of what the teacher's teaching, right? It's not necessarily. It's not the teacher's fault that the kid is not being able to grasp such a difficult concept when it's being taught the same way since the teacher started teaching. And yeah, so it's basically, that's where the backlash is coming from. And in schools are afraid to speak out about this because they don't want to lose any federal funding. So there's a lot going on, and the people behind this are not teachers. They're more like corporate people in an office.
So while doing our research, I spoke to a veteran teacher to get her opinion of the Common Core standards. This grade teacher told us that she feels that there are several standards that the average 6-year-old is not cognitively ready to achieve. For example, Common Core Standards 1.08.6, Operations and Algebraic Thinking, states that students will add and subtract within 20, demonstrating fluency for addition and subtraction within 10. Use strategies such as counting on, making 10, decomposing a number leading to 10, using the relationship between addition and subtraction, and creating equivalent but easier or known sums. For example, 8 plus 6 equals 8 plus 2 plus 4 equals 10 plus 4 equals 14. As you can see, 8 plus 6 equals 14. If you break 6 down into 2 plus 4, you will see that 2 plus 4 plus 8 also equals 14. This shows that 8 plus 2 equals 10 plus 4 equals 14. So all of those come to the total of 14. 13 minus 4 equals 13 minus 3 minus 1 equals 10 minus 1 equals 9. As you can see, 13 minus 4 equals 9. If you break 4 up into 3 minus 1, 13 minus 3 minus 1 equals 9. Subtract 3 from 13, you get 10. 10 minus 1 equals 9. Therefore, all the solutions come out to the same, this being 9. In order to apply these strategies, however, students must have mastered the concepts of addition and subtraction in kindergarten. In most cases, however, this is not so. It is impossible for a student to use the Make 10 strategy if he or she does not know all the facts, combinations with sums of 10. In addition, this teacher feels that so much emphasis is put on teaching the strategies that the students never actually learn the facts. This becomes a problem as the students move on to higher grades. The old standards were less complicated because there were less steps used when doing addition and subtraction. The students were taught the equations separately as opposed to all in one formula. For example, 8 plus 6 equals 14, as well as 10 plus 4 equals 14. Although they have the same solution, the students were taught the equations separately. Another example, 13 minus 4 equals 9, as well as 10 minus 1 equals 9. Once again, they both have the same solution, but each of these equations were taught separately. In an attempt to make these young students critical thinkers and problem solvers before they are developmentally ready, the Common Core is actually causing these students to miss out on learning the fundamental skills. And what are the methods and the limitations of these methods?
At the present time, the only approach for dealing with this problem is for the parents to remove the children from the public schools that are failing to meet their unique individual needs. Enrollment in private and charter school is on the rise. For teachers and administrators, the only option is to leave the profession. Some leave to avoid the change, others due to the increased pressure for the students' performance and teachers' accountability.
Now the limitations.
The above approaches may lead to downfall of the public education. This is the exact opposite of what the Common Core is intended to do. The Common Core standards do not guarantee the improvements of testing on the global scale. For example, not every nation with the Common Core standards would do well testing. Like Canada does not have the testings and the nation is doing well. Also, most of the assessments will be online, which will force everyone to spend more money on technology.
Yaslin, explain the criteria for optimal solution.
Guidelines for a workable solution are that the money currently being invested in this plan can be reduced. The money that is not being used for the Common Core can be used to benefit public schools or for other important aspects of education, like a scholarship to help college students pay the school loans, and etc. According to our research, we found that the states are seeking about the Common Core because of the high cost it involves. States will spend up to an estimate of $10 billion up from then as much as $800 million per year for the first 7 years that the controversial program is up and running. Much of the cost is new to the Common Core and the textbooks and the curriculum, but the added expenses also include teacher training, technology, and testing, and the assignment is too much. It's too much money for them, and there are many other valuable ways that the money can be used to improve the generation of the younger student and their educational experience.
What solutions can we propose?
One solution will be to make the Common Core optional. The schools that are in agreement with this new technique should be able to adopt this method, but the other ones that feel that this standard to not meet the needs that they want, they should be able to deny this option as well. If they could return to using their own standards, as a result, the communities will have the option to implement goals or standards that best suit to their students. Another suggested criteria is that it will be allowed each state or school district to customize the Common Core. That will allow them to pick up and choose the standard that every individual student likes, and the community is giving them more options to meet their needs.
Now let's evaluate our solutions.
The best solution for Common Core would for it to become optional and allow each state to implement different standards that benefit the unique needs of their community and their schools. There are no disadvantages for this because it will be optional. States and local communities will be able to choose what their school will be learning and their plans and for their children.
Does the solution conform to the criteria formulated by the group?
Yeah, it does.
What are the long-term and short-term effects for this solution?
Okay, so the long-term effects will be that the money the states that are investing in the Common Core can be used in different ways that are more effective for the schools. The short-term effect is that they can decide not to use the money for education, and if the state feels that the Common Core does not meet the educational needs for the students, they do not have the resources to implement it successfully because it's so expensive. So why should they waste the money when it can be used for more effective things?
Now, what would be some strategies to implement the solution?
The group that disagree with this, they can get public support and approval for the proposed solution by making peaceful protests, by holding conference and explaining the solution and its benefits, using examples and experiences of districts that have opted to use our approach.
You need to have a solid plan. If you're going to bring this to the government, you need to have the confidence to go to them and say that Common Core is not working, explain why and what the benefits are to localized education. Then you got to get state leaders together, and basically it should be just delegated right to the states. So each state will report it's on them to get their people together and to have each district map out their curriculum and make sure it's state approved. If we want to stay, and then the state can then refer back to the government and say, hey, we're doing X, Y, and Z. This is what we're doing, just so we're on the same page. But to make the government oversee everything is just, nah.
Long-term study of data over the next 10 years, does our plan result in an increase of high school and college graduation rates? Are our students college and career ready, and they can compete globally with students from other top nations?
So what did we learn today?
Common Core is not getting the job done. It needs to be repealed and replaced. So,
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
The sources that we found our information from are
Was from rethinkingschools.org and usnews.com,
ED Week Organization and Parenting in School.
pbs.org, and clive.com.
and foxnews.com.